We look at the black and white footage of Nuremberg rallies. We see the jackboots and the straight-arm salutes. We tell ourselves, that is fascism. That could never happen here. But what if we are looking for the wrong signs? What if fascism learned to adapt? What if it no longer needs the aesthetic of the 1930s to achieve the same goal? I am not asking if the US is Nazi Germany. I am asking if it has developed its own unique 21st century strain of fascism, a slow-rolling, bureaucratic, and corporate-led authoritarianism. One that maintains the brilliant illusion of democracy while systematically dismantling its foundations. To answer this, we cannot use the word as a mere insult. We must use it as a clinical diagnosis, and when we compare America to the philosophical criteria of fascism, the results are not just alarming. They are a perfect match, the cult of tradition and the myth of a golden age. The first symptoms is the cult of tradition and the myth of a golden age. The philosopher Umberto Eco called this fascism, the eternal and primordial foundation in America, a love of ancient Rome, but a worship of a fabricated past. It is the mantra to make America great again. This slogan is not a policy proposal. It is a religious invocation. It points to a mythical, perfect time that must be restored, a time of traditional values, industrial might, and unchallenged supremacy. This myth requires the rejection of modernism. The complex, multicultural, and globally interconnected world is framed as a corrupting force. It is woke. It is globalist. It is un-American. The goal is not to build a new future, but to purge the present, to return to a past that never existed. This is the very essence of the fascist worldview, the eternal enemy and the code of action. The fascist state cannot exist without an enemy. It requires a perpetual other to unite the people against in America. This enemy is not a single nation, but a rotating cast of villains. It is the deep state lurking within our own government. It is the coastal elites who look down on the real Americans. It is the illegal immigrants poisoning the blood of the nation. This narrative of a plot is essential. It explains every failure and justifies every power grab. Why are your wages stagnant? The globalists ship your job overseas. Why is there crime? They are letting criminals pour over the border. This creates a state of perpetual fear and perpetual war, and it fuels the next symptoms, the cult of action for action's sake. Critical thought is the enemy, debate is paralysis. What matters is will and strength and decisive action. We see this in the contempt for experts and elites. The complex, nuanced solutions of policy are dismissed. They are replaced by simple, strong-sounding slogans. Build the wall. Drill, baby, drill. Lock her up. The rallying cry is not, let us think this through. It is, just do something. This is the abandonment of reason for the purity of force. Machismo, fear of difference, and selective populism. The fascist state is a patriarchy. It glorifies the warrior and despises the soft. We see this in America's machismo. It is the performance of toughness in politics. It is the relentless glorification of the military and police, not as public servants, but as warrior classes. It is the legislative attacks on women's bodies and LGBTQ rights. It is a desperate enforcement of a rigid, traditional social hierarchy. This is inextricably linked to a fear of difference. Fascism is, at its core, racist. It cannot tolerate a pluralistic society. It must purify the body politic. We see this in the panic over demographic change, in the laws against teaching, critical race theory, and the hysteria over a border crisis. The goal is to define a real American and protect them from contamination. And who speaks for this real American? The leader. This is selective populism. The leader alone claims to channel the will of the pure people. He stands against the corrupt elite, the lying media, the scheming bureaucrats. He alone can fix it. He is the voice of the silent majority. This is how democracy is hollowed out. The people are not citizens to be reasoned with. They are a mob to be led. The final and most important symptom, the corporate merger. This 21st century American fascism diverges from its ancestors. It is not the state controlling industry. It is industry controlling the state. The classical term for this is corporatism, the merger of corporate and state power. And in America, this merger is virtually complete. It is the endless river of dark money that floods our political campaigns. It is the lobbyists who literally write the laws that Congress rubber stamps. It is the military-industrial complex that demands eternal war for eternal profit. It is the surveillance capitalist complex where big tech and the intelligence agencies are partners. They collect our data, they shape our thoughts, they monitor our dissent. This is the engine of the American fascist state. It does not need a dictator to nationalize the factories. It has found a more efficient model. It buys the politicians, it deregulates the industries, it privatizes the public good. The state becomes a tool for corporate profit, and corporate power enforces the will of the state. It is a perfect self-reinforcing loop of control. The illusion of freedom. Your cage is invisible, but we have elections. You will say, but we have free speech, and this is a brilliant part of the design. These are not safeguards anymore. They are managed rituals. Our elections are a spectacle, a choice between two wings of the same corporate-funded party. The outcomes are meticulously engineered through gerrymandering and voter suppression. It is a game where the playing field is tilted, but we are told it is fair. Our free speech is legally protected, but practically marginalized. You can stand on a soapbox and say anything you want, but your voice will be drowned out by a billion-dollar media machine. If your dissent becomes too effective, you will be deplatformed, debanked, and demonetized. The algorithms will bury you. The illusion of choice remains to provide the system with legitimacy. This is why it doesn't look like the 1930s. The cage has no bars. The chains are made of debt, of algorithms, of fear, and of a managed consensus. You are free to choose your own brand of toothpaste. You are free to binge watch your favorite shows. You are free to argue about sports and celebrities. This is the bread and circuses that keeps the population passive. While the architecture of tyranny is quietly assembled around them conclusion, the managed dissenso is the United States, a fascist state. It does not have a single dictator. It does not have death camps. But by the philosophical definition, the diagnosis is clear. It has a cult of traditional identity. It has an eternal enemy and a rejection of critical thought. It is built on machismo and a fear of difference. It is fueled by a perfect merger of corporate and state power, and it is all hidden behind the brilliant, mesmerizing illusion of freedom. This is not a sudden takeover. It is a managed descent, a slow, chilling slide into a new kind of tyranny, one that is comfortable, entertaining, and willing to let you speak, because it knows, in the end, you have nowhere